welcome back to the Grow with Cara show. Today we continue our interview series with successful attorney marketers. We're taking a close look at what's working, what's not working so well, the specific steps these attorneys took to get to where they are. And remember, these are simple steps that you too can follow to get on a similar path to growth. Okay, let's get right to it like we always do. Today, our special guest is attorney Joe Volta. Joe is a personal injury attorney in North and South Carolina, as well as Maryland. In the last 6 years, he has recovered millions for his clients. Welcome, Joe. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Cara, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So Joe, to start, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, your background as an attorney, and maybe about the growth that you've seen over the last 6 years or so.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, basically, I've been licensed for 7 years, and I kind of got my start in Maryland. I come from a family of attorneys. My dad has been an attorney, ever since prior to me even being born, and he practiced at the largest asbestos litigation firm in Maryland. And so, after law school, I kind of got my start working in asbestos litigation, and then ultimately, I decided, about 3.5 years in, to move to the Carolinas because my wife's family worked here. And ever since I've been in the Carolinas, I've been kind of just focusing on your typical MVA nursing home type of torts and everything like that. So that's primarily my focus nowadays.
Great. Yeah, that's helpful. So Joe, earlier you told me you personally have about 111 open case files right now. And the vast majority of those clients came directly from referrals from lawyers that you met on Instagram. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of my comp package here at the firm that I work at, it's kind of based on collections and revenue growth and things of that nature. And so part of what is expected of you is really to go out and bring in your own business. And after being in the field for these 7 years now, I've kind of learned there are two types of attorneys that really do well, at least in my experience. And that is the ones that can litigate cases, and they go all over the country and they litigate the heck out of cases, and they're really good at getting 7, 8, 9-figure verdicts. And then there are attorneys that can really bring in their own business, and those are all like the type of attorneys that do really well. And so, a part of being here, I really leveraged Instagram, and I really only got on Instagram basically during the pandemic through Clubhouse. Right, I was on Clubhouse. Someone told me to get on it, so I did. And then everyone there was really pushing, you got to get on Instagram, you got to get on Instagram. And so I ended up doing that, and I've really made a lot of what I would call, friends now, even though I've really only met them in this two-dimensional space, and really kind of just been really promoting the Carolinas. And if you look around, or at least in the circles that I've run in, I don't really see too many people promoting, cases for torts or negligence in the Carolinas. And so I've really met all these people, and just whether it's DMing them or, reaching out on the phone or emails, and become friends with a lot of them.
Yeah, that's really impressive. I didn't realize that you had only been on since the pandemic too. I mean, that's great. So I really kind of want to unpack that and learn really how you managed to turn your Instagram account into this sort of, lead generation machine. So, oh, by the way, Joe's handle is at High Voltage Law. By the way, give him a follow. You'll get a ton of good inspiration. But Joe, tell us, kind of take us through how you got started on social media, and how long did it kind of take before you started generating leads from Instagram?
Sure. So I would say I probably started back in 2020, or maybe no, 2021. In January 2021, I made the leap. And a lot of what I did was, market research, right? And I guess a lot of that was analysis paralysis, but it was doing a lot of market research, following other lawyers to see what it was that they did, the higher end accounts, right? The people that have a lot of followers and bring in a lot of business. And so I would really research what those people were doing and what appeared to be successful for them. And then I would just reach out to them in the DMs and really kind of comment a lot on their posts, right? Because people don't really, if you just send someone a random DM, and you're not really going to hear back all that often, right? But I would comment and engage a lot and trying to become part of their community. And then that kind of led to becoming friends with them and things like that. And that's how I really started to kind of get leads for cases in the Carolinas and really kind of expand my business.
Yeah. So, you're really looking to connect with fellow attorneys, looking to kind of attract referral sources on Instagram as opposed to prospective clients, right?
Exactly. Right. So a lot of my page kind of is geared toward meeting other attorneys. And I really promote here in the Carolinas, you can ethically fee split, right? And so I really promote the fact that, hey, you send me the case because you have a big national following and people get hit up all the time. And a lot of these lawyers, they build a following in our community where people contact them because they know, like, and trust them, right? And so I'm trying to become that attorney that other lawyers feel like they know, that they like, and that they trust. And so I've been able to kind of let them know that I will do everything by the book. I never solicit clients or anything like that. And I'm more than happy to share in those fees, right? Because I subscribe to this belief of I'd rather have, 2/3 or a 50-50 split or a 60-40 split of $1 than have no case at all. And
Right.
you mentioned previously, right now I have roughly 115 open files. 100 of those files, I looked at it before we got on here today, 100 of those files are from attorney referrals,
Wow.
right? And so that would basically mean I would have only 15 of my own cases right now, which is really tough to make a living unless you're doing some of these, larger multi-million-dollar cases, which what attorney doesn't want those? I'm obviously working to get to that point, right? But my practice right now is not there. And so if I didn't have those people that know, like, and trusted that I'm going to take care of their clients, their brand, referring me those cases, then I kind of would really be, I don't want to say without a job, but I wouldn't have anywhere as near the amount of files that I have now.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't be talking, right?
Probably not, right?
Yeah, but it's true. You don't shy away from speaking directly to potential referral sources on Instagram. I saw your recent kind of friendly Friday reminder, right? Where you say, if you're an attorney, you're looking to refer a case in North or South Carolina, I can help. I always like to share in the fees, send you that mailbox money, right? So
Right.
are those posts effective? Like, will you receive DMs from attorneys after you post a video like that?
Sure. So, I mean, I get them, I don't want to say all the time, but, on a weekly basis, I'm like sifting through leads and, potential attorneys that, reach out to me, whether that's through a DM or an email. And now I have a couple of, national attorneys that market nationally, right? And I've done well for them. And so they kind of reciprocate and they keep sending me these potential leads. And then I also even get emails from people that I am friends with on Instagram who may have never sent me a case before, but they'll see on their listserv, like a Justice HQ or a Trial by Human or, an AAJ, something like that of, hey, we're looking for an attorney in North or South Carolina, whatever the case may be. And then those lawyers that know me, they'll send a three-way email linking me up with someone who may not even follow me on Instagram, but the only way I kind of got that case through Instagram because I knew, attorney Smith, and
Right.
he or she, sent that other lawyer on their, listserv my information and we connect that way. And so, I actually just settled a DUI case in the Carolinas using that exact example. An attorney saw something on a Rhode Island listserv. They connected me with that lawyer. I spoke with him and we kind of hit it off and he referred me the case and we ended up getting $131,000 policy limit settlement between the liability and the UIM. So
Nice,
it's
nice.
been good.
That's cool. Well, you're obviously big on relationship building, right? So tell us a little bit about how you kind of continue to nurture those new referral partnerships after you maybe make that connection on Instagram or after that initial introduction. How do you really cultivate that to, have it be an ongoing, symbiotic relationship?
Sure. I mean, a lot of it is, just continually talking with these folks, right? I'm probably on Instagram too much, but I try to say it's for the business side, right? Because I never did social media, as, just for the fun of it, right? I only got on it because people that I respected were telling me it can be good for your business, right? And so I really comment on people's posts and I have conversation with these folks with their, anyone that's on Instagram knows that stories aren't necessarily, they can be anything. They don't have to really relate to the content that you're putting out on your page, right? And so, I comment and talk about, people's successes and, things that they're doing with their kids or with their families. And sometimes even people post when they're sad or upset because they lost a family member. And so I offer my condolences to them. And really a lot of it is just trying to build friendships outside of, just what you see on Instagram, and offer them advice on, if they're handling a case pre-lit maybe in the Carolinas and don't want to refer it, I give them my pleadings. I give them like the case law that they can use to put pressure on insurance companies to get where they need to be. And it's more of like a long game and trying to, have friends, right? And use social media instead of a toxic way that a lot of people see social media. I try to use it the other way of really building people up and, getting new friends that you would never, ordinarily have. Like you, for instance, I would have never met you because you're in California and I'm on the East Coast. So
Right.
that's kind of how I use it. And I think that's the best way for it to be used.
Yeah, I mean that's so refreshing, and I really feel like sometimes that's lost. So when attorneys are a little bit nervous or apprehensive to kind of get started on social media because they hear all of the negative, but
Mhm.
when you are looking to build these relationships, it's just that it's a friendship. It's it takes kind of time and that back and forth, and then that's when you really are able to build your network. I love that. So, Joe, you post a nice mix of content on your page, but you do seem to stick primarily to kind of helpful and entertaining legal related content. I mean, you may throw in kind of the occasional family or personal post, but you seem to primarily stick, more toward the legal videos. So tell us about how you decide what to post. What's your process like? Can you walk us through kind of from idea to post for maybe a recent video that you like?
Sure. So, I mean, I like to say that, I'm kind of a chameleon and not in like a malicious or a conniving way. I can be, blue collar or white collar, and I like to have fun, right? And sometimes, and I really struggled with this when I first became a lawyer, was when someone would ask you what it is that you do, and I would tell them I'm a lawyer, and I would get into this, thinking of you're not good enough and like almost blushing, like they're not going to believe you, right? Thinking like you're talking to a high school friend, right? But when it comes to putting yourself out there and thinking of the content, right? I like to have fun because I don't try and take myself too seriously. Right. I know there's a time and a place for it. I curse in my content, and I obviously I don't do that when I'm in court, right? But I'm a normal everyday person, right? And so I like to have my personality, show through, right? And so I think it's funny making fun of insurance companies, right? And so I've bought some swag and stuff like that off Amazon. I have like I'll do plays with where I'm making fun of Jake from State Farm. I've even dressed up as Flo from Progressive.
I
Put
love
on
those.
makeup and stuff
I
like
love those
that.
videos.
And
Yeah.
but then I'll also just kind of talk about legal matters, right? Because insurance, if you think about it, it's pretty boring, right? And it's easy for someone to just swipe right by that, unless it's like another lawyer, because it's like we do that, right? And so that's fun to us. But there's so much education that people don't get taught in schools, whether that's financial literacy or signing up for insurance, right? And no one understands, and these insurance companies, they spend millions saying, only pay for what you need. That's a Liberty Mutual one, right? Well, all you need are the minimum limits for each state that you're driving in, right? But if you actually get catastrophically injured and you are hurt by someone that has only pay for what you need, and you have the same type of coverage, in a lot of states, you're not going to have enough compensation to pay for your medical bills or get you back to even. So I try to do some of those educational posts for the organic reach of people that might not understand insurance. And then I also do like a mix of, kind of talking to other lawyers like, hey, our laws are different in the Carolinas than maybe a California, a New York, a Wyoming, right? Send it to me. Don't try and handle it yourself, because if you do that, you might end up making more in a referral fee than you would if you tried to handle the case yourself. And so I try to think of, ideas that, try to meet that kind of market research, or hit that kind of niche market that I'm in. And the way I get a lot of those ideas is just scrolling Instagram and applying trends to insurance or the legal field, you know?
Yeah. So tell us about, so you have an idea for a video. Then what happens? Are you pulling out your phone? Are you sitting down at your desk? How are you actually creating the content?
Sure. So I should batch more. I know a lot of people do that, and that's a really great way to do it. It's tough trying to be a father and working, right? And so and on the weekends, I kind of slack in that area, right? But what I do is I find a post. I follow a lot of Instagram growth influencers, right? Those are people that I follow because they have all the trends early, all the sounds, and I try to repurpose their ideas into my space. but I'll save their posts, right? And I'll go back and rewatch them and film something in relation to that the idea that I had, right? I'll write it down in my notepad in my phone of like, use so and so's post and do this, or use this person's post, dress up as Flo, and then type this out, right? Or if I'm just sitting on my couch, I'll film a reel, but I'll just use all the words that I want to say, and then I'll refilm that reel in character,
Hmm.
or dressed up in my suit or in business attire, as opposed to just sitting on the couch in a t-shirt, bad lighting and all that. But that way I don't lose the idea.
Off the top of your head, can you think of any of those influencers that you follow?
Sure, I follow Brock Johnson is a good one. And then I also follow what is his name? His name's Mike something or other. I could send you an email and you could
Yeah,
put it in
yeah,
you
yeah,
can put it in the caption or something like that. His
yeah,
name
yeah.
is I don't know, but both of those two guys, they have close to 1 million followers each, and they do really good stuff that I try to use.
Good. So are you shooting on your phone typically? Are you handling all the editing? Is anyone helping you? Are you kind of doing all of it?
No, I shoot everything myself. I use tripods. I have a ring light. You know what I mean? But most of the stuff I shoot myself. I edit myself. I think of all the ideas myself. And I don't. Again, there's only so much you can do with insurance to make it, light, fun, to kind of stop the scroll. I found pretty good success lately talking over, doing your own, speaking where you don't even include a trending sound. That Instagram has like that, whether you talk about like a current event story and talk over a green screen with, you pull a title off of a website of whatever story's going on, and then you speak how that affects things legally, right? And so, or like an accident video and talk about
Yeah.
the different types of claims that could happen and people that could be sued, right? And so that's I found pretty good success with those lately.
Yeah, I noticed you post a lot of the kind of what do I think type
Mhm.
of videos on Instagram where you're kind of playing a clip of an accident, for instance, and then you're providing sort of your take on the situation, right?
Yeah.
Are those popular for you? And where do you kind of find those accident clips?
So, I mean, I follow like different, like funny video sites. I can't think of any of the names off there, but if you just search like hashtag for, car crash videos or funny videos or, bike versus cops,
Mm.
right? Some of those have, good content, and you can try to like repurpose those, on Twitter, or not Twitter, on TikTok, they call it stitching. Instagram doesn't have that feature, but you kind of just download the video, maybe tag that creator so it doesn't look like you're stealing their stuff and not giving them the credit. And then you just kind of, continue on the reel with whatever it is you're going to say, and add that value there for the viewer.
And you're also, you're doing some of the kind of news jacking too, right? That you mentioned,
Exactly.
talk about
I don't
the
really tag
gun.
those people because it's right in the news story. It has, NBC News. So I don't
Yeah.
really think that you're really running into any copyright stuff there. People obviously see that, it's NBC News right there. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't really find that as a big deal.
Right, right. Right before this, you mentioned to me you're also kind of doing some offline stuff now to bring in some business. You started kind of attending some conferences recently. Tell us about your experience there and why you decided to start kind of down that path.
Sure. So, I didn't do any of the conference stuff early in my career, like at least the first 3.5 years when I was doing asbestos litigation in Maryland. But then when I moved to the Carolinas, the pandemic hit about 3 months after, or maybe 6 months after I moved here, right? So that kind of put a damper on everyone's marketing and all that kind of stuff. But that really ramped up my Instagram, I guess life, if you want to call it. And then through meeting a lot of the higher end, or the big national marketers, attorney wise, on Instagram, I built relationships with them, and they advised that like going to these conferences, not even for the content so much at the conferences, but the relationships and the people that you can meet there would be great. They're like, Joe, that would be really great for you. You should do those things. And so last year I went to the CEO Lawyers Conference, Ali Awad, right? He's really big on Instagram, does great things. And I kind of, even though he's a younger attorney, right? Not length of service wise, but he's younger than I am. I really respect what he's been able to build and grow. And I've built a relationship with him. And so I wanted to go to his conference, was actually the first one I ever went to show him support, right? And I met a lot of attorneys there. And I would say after that conference, just in the attorneys that I met there, I got 10 new cases, 3 of which are, at least 6-figure cases from just meeting, lawyers there at that conference. And then there were other national attorneys that send me cases that I got to meet for the first time in person at that conference, right? So it was really great to, again, it's all about fostering those relationships. I can't say it enough. People do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And so those are types of things that I've found really beneficial. And coming up in July, I'm going to the Law de Gras conference in San Diego with a lot of people that, hoping to meet a lot of people that I've met only in the 2-dimensional space on Instagram to continue those relationship building.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Ali has been on the show a few times, actually. He's a wealth of knowledge. Yeah, he's great. So you're really not spending much money at all on marketing and advertising at this point, right? Joe, we talked about maybe doing a small little, boosted post test, but outside of that, it sounds like everything you're doing is more, sweat and time than cash output, correct?
Yeah. So I would say I've spent a total of, $70 in marketing. And that's just because I really boosted my first post ever within the last 2 weeks. I'd spend $0 on my own marketing. My firm that I'm not a partner at, they do a little bit of Google, ads and what have you. But personally, I don't spend any of my own money on marketing. It's all, sweat equity and, DMing other attorneys, emailing other lawyers on listservs that I'm a part of just to build those relationships. And we mentioned how, I'm licensed in North and South Carolina. A lot of these attorneys, if they've been practicing for a while because of how the bar rules were set up in each state, they're not licensed in both states. And so I really try to build those relationships and let them know, like, I'll help you in South Carolina or I'll help you in North Carolina. And I'm more than happy to share a fee with you. And everything is ethical and above board. And most people, they're happy to connect and just put their clients in the hands of someone that they know is going to care about them and make them look good, right? Not only am I trying to make myself look good, I really worry about and focus on making my referral partner look good. And I even ask a lot of my clients, like, hey, you're happy with what I did. Can you go leave a review, not only on my site, but can you go leave a review on that attorney's site?
Nice.
How they referred you to a lawyer that helped you out and you were thankful that they did that.
Nice.
Right. And so that, I found that other lawyers really appreciate that aspect too.
That's a great gesture. Yeah, that's a great idea. So Joe, before we wrap up, I always like to ask if a lawyer watching maybe only has time to adopt 1, maybe 2 of your tips, what would you recommend?
So take the leap and start making your own content, right? You got to do it. It's really nerve-wracking in the beginning, but it's like anything, you get better as you go along. And then the second one will be reach out to those people that you want to be like and hang out with the people that are above you, right? And build those relationships, because the relationships really are what make things last for you. And that's what I found the most success with. I'm still working on getting the, organic cases coming in, but right now, I'm more than happy to help other lawyers and grow my network and work on those relationships with those other attorneys in our space.
I think it's a really smart approach. Thank you. Thank you, Joe, for sharing your experience, your tips. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks so much. I really appreciate it, Cara.
Yeah. So everyone, be sure to join us for the next episode of the Grow with Cara show happening very soon. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.